to the world of environmental science. What is environmental science? For you to easily understand what environmental science is, let's define first the word environment. I think it is something you're familiar with, isn't it? The word environment comes from the French word environ, which means surrounding. It simply means that environment is everything that makes up our surroundings and affects our ability to live on the earth, the air we breathe, the water that covers most of the earth's surface, the plants and the animals around us, and much more. In other words, all that surrounds living things and affects their growth and development is called their environment. Both living and non-living things form the environment. Thus, environment is made up of two parts or components, biotic and abiotic. Let's talk about biotic components. The word biotic means living. So, biotic components are living organisms in an ecosystem. A biotic factor is a living organism that affects another organism in its ecosystem. Here are some examples of biotic factors, such as birds, plants, animals, and etc. Now, let's tackle abiotic components. The word abiotic means not living, so abiotic components include physical conditions and non-living resources that affect living organisms in terms of growth, maintenance, and reproduction. Abiotic factor means a non-living part of an ecosystem that shapes its environment. Some examples of biotic factors including sunlight, air, minerals, water, and soil. Hi learners, since you know already what environment consists of, you can easily define what environmental science is. Environmental science is a multidisciplinary science because it comprises various branches of studies like chemistry, physics, medical science, life science, agriculture, etc. Environmental science, also defined as the science of physical phenomena in the environment. It studies of the sources, reactions, transport, effect, and fate of physical and biological species in the air, water, and soil, and the effect of from human activities upon this. In learning environmental science, it is very essential to understand how nature works, to understand the interaction of different components, and how we affect an environment. To further understand, let's take an example. A simple example would be a biotic interaction in plants. Water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide are necessary for plants' growth, aren't they? The biotic interaction is that plants use water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide to create their own nourishment or food through a process called photosynthesis. Also, these plants serve as food for higher animals. It implies that all the biotic components constantly interact or exchange things with each other, as well as abiotic components for the survival. These components work on a broader scale. Our planet Earth is the entire life sphere because it consists of different spheres, such as lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, and biosphere. Learners, let's talk about lithosphere. Lithosphere is the entire land surface of the Earth. It is the outer mantle of the solid Earth. It consists of minerals occurring in the Earth's crust and soil. Let's talk about the outer sphere of the planet Earth. The air surrounding our Earth's surface is called atmosphere. It implies the protective blanket of gases surrounding the Earth. It sustains life on the Earth. It saves it from the hostile environment of outer space. It absorbs most of the cosmic rays from outer space and a major portion of the electromagnetic radiation from the sun. And also, the atmosphere is composed of nitrogen and oxygen, besides argon, carbon dioxide, and trace gases. Let's land on hydrosphere. Hydrosphere comprises all types of water sources such as oceans, seas, lakes, rivers, streams, reservoir, polar ice caps, glaciers, and groundwater. Major 97% of the Earth's water supply is in the oceans. About 2% of the water resources is locked in the polar ice caps and glaciers. Only about 1% is available fresh surface water. Rivers, lakes, streams, and groundwater fit to be used for human consumption and other uses. The outer sphere of the Earth is what we call the biosphere. It indicates the realm of living organisms and their interactions with environment in relation to atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. All of the said spheres of the planet Earth obtain valuable and useful things, where human beings and other living organisms could benefit from them and rely on them to sustain life. The lithosphere, or the land surface of the Earth, is useful for the agricultural activities, constructing houses, and we can get many useful minerals from the soil. Hydrosphere, which provides us with different forms of water, is useful for drinking, cleaning, washing, watering plants, and used for agriculture and industries. The air we breathe, the sunlight, weather, wind are all obtained from the atmosphere, which are helpful for the survival of living organisms. The various life forms of the Earth are all obtained from the biosphere. They are useful in our daily living, such as the food that we eat, firewood, and many more. All of the useful things obtained from nature are called natural resources. In other words, natural resources defined as any materials given to us by nature, which can be transformed in a way that it become more valuable and useful. Natural resources are classified into two broad categories: renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Renewable resources are any resource that cycles or can be replaced within a human lifespan. Examples: water, crops, wind, soil, sunlight, animals, etc. On the other hand, non-renewable resources are any resource that cannot be replaced during the time of a human lifespan. They took thousands of years to form and exist in fixed amounts in the earth. Some examples including oil, steel, aluminum, coal, etc. Both renewable and non-renewable resources are essential for our survival. They exist for a certain purpose, which are to satisfy us for our day-to-day requirements to live. But as time goes by, our planet Earth experiences rapid changes. Some changes are beneficial to us, but some changes are causing damage to our planet. The field of environmental science is a valuable resource for learning more about these changes and how they affect the world we are living. How we humans affect our environment. The increase of human population has a huge impact on our environment. For most of human history, the population has been less than 1 million people, but in recent time, the population reached into 1 billion of people. Due to this increase of human population, there has been also an increase in pressure on the natural resources and ecosystem services that we rely on to sustain life. Increase in human population has a negative effect. It's because natural resources are being used up in more rapid rate. Although renewable resources can be replenished, but when they are used too rapidly, they cannot be replenished quickly to meet the human demand. Even worse, when non-renewable resources are used in increased rate, they become more closer to running out completely or become extinct. This will result to an imbalanced ecosystem. Human activities have great impact to the changes we are experiencing right now. Human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, overfishing, etc. can trigger disasters such as flooding, global warming, soil erosion, air and water pollution, etc. We humans must be careful and responsible in our actions because our future depends on what we do right now. Human is just a creature, not the creator. We don't have the right to destroy our environment. It's not too late. We can do something and make a difference. Learners, let's protect, preserve, and conserve our environment for sustainability.